Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. It's another fantastic day here in Radio Cayman, and we invite you to enjoy what is the winter in Cayman. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK as we start things off with our good friends from Cayman Enterprise today. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow, Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining us, and got a really good time again to share with our listeners to be a part of what is truly a remarkable endeavor at Cayman Enterprise City. The CEO, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, publicly, very blessed and productive and joyous New Year to you and your team, sir. How are you?
all is well, and the same to you.
And it's going to be I think, a fantastic year. And what's not good, we'll make better, and what's, better, we're going to make great. So with that, Ms. Caitlin Athenstone, welcome. Been a while you haven't joined us.
Yeah, it's been some time, but it's good to see you. Good to be on air again.
It's not much better than we can be, unless, of course, we got Barker somewhere, but I would even be the best. But even today, and I'm hoping that as we're listening, in particular, I keep saying this to Charlie, us as parents and as educators, that we're saying to our children, our students, that interest that you have, even if in your mind that is something, the nuclear physicists, for instance, the astrophysicists, you can potentially still do that in Cayman and be based. And I think with what I've seen unfolding within Cayman Enterprise City, we're attracting great talent from everywhere. Hopefully, home porting them, as it were, in a sense here. Onboarding, as the terminology in the sector for some of my friends talk about, and maybe cause our people now to be able to leverage their talents, their interests.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the big things that we do through our Enterprise Cayman initiative, which is set up as a nonprofit organization, is to really help to create platforms for knowledge sharing. And the business design competition is one fun and exciting ways to get involved and win some cash prizes, get your idea off the ground, right? So I'm excited to talk about it.
And this is, I think, the wonderful part, that we can have within our country an opportunity to showcase the many talents that we have. That sometimes, if we look back and we talk to our parents, would seem that not only have gone underreported, but sometimes untapped. From the football player to the musician to that budding poet or playwright who got some traction, but that can't cut it here. But other jurisdictions, even in the region, they'd have been celebrated and revered. They'd have been successful, international acclaim. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I see we have 2 additional wonderful people joining us. Miss Caitlin, through you, Mom.
We do. We have Alyssa Manderson, who's brand new to the Enterprise Cayman team. Alyssa, maybe you want to say hello and a few words about yourself?
Hi. Looking forward. I am the program and events coordinator for Enterprise Cayman, and I'm looking forward to being with the team.
All right. Well, you have a good team.
So she's shadowing us this week, and then we'll be taking the reins on the programs and driving some new initiatives forward. So we're really excited to have her on board.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So that means we got a chance to have or frequently join Charlie and you in the studio from time to time.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then Lakeisha Mason, who is winner last year, who won the Creativity Award in last year's competition. So big ups. Maybe you can talk about your project and let us know how it's going and where you're at so far.
Okay. Pleasant good afternoon, Cayman Islands. Lakeisha Mason here, founder of Secret to Safety. So from last year's competition, Secret to Safety is a fitness apparel brand that couples innovative design with the maximum provision and providing safety for the user.
Secret to Safety.
Yes, Secret to Safety.
Apparel design. I must share that when I first heard it, looked at it, just the name, I thought, oh, something to do with, and then as I looked into it more, very creative.
Thank you.
I would love very much for you to share with us, and hopefully it would inspire others, because I think sometimes, with great respect, when you were first launching, this is year 3 of the competition, right? Mm-hmm. Business design competition, many people think it's just that. It's about profits, it's about business, without seeing that there's a creative element to it. I think, Charlie, this is what you have emphasized so often, that there's a lot of creative aspect that comes in the melds with the technology, that comes with the marketing, that comes with the it's amazing.
And especially as it relates to our business design competition, it's the ideate stage. We've been on your show to talk about our Launch Labs incubator, which comes afterwards. But at this stage, we're literally dealing with people that have an idea and want to see, okay, how do I develop this beyond just something that's in my head, and how do I, how do I vet it? How do I test it as an idea? And figure out whether there's a path forward in the future for my idea as an actual product. So, what Lakeisha is talking about is, this was something, when she entered last year's business design competition, and I think it'd be great for you to talk a little bit about your experience in the program, your thought process for getting involved, and the stage where your product was when you signed up to be part of it. But the whole thing is that if you, and I'm saying this to the listening public, is that if you have an idea that you think might have some legs and you want to find out whether in fact it does, please do sign up for the competition.
Whether it's a centipede with 4 legs, as my friend from the West says, or if it's one of those things that you're not quite sure if it's a 3-legged stool and you just need extra support. But with that, though, Ms. Mason, maybe as Charlie was sharing, initially, where was your project? Well, what prompted you to sign up to CEC's sort of business design competition to see where it goes?
Okay. So what prompted me was actually solving a fitness endeavor for myself. I started my journey 2 years ago in November, and I used to wake up every morning and jog on the 7-mile strip, true island girl. And I stopped jogging because there was an attack on South Sound Road. It really instilled fear into me because my jogging routine was every morning, and I wanted to create something that gave me my power back. So Secret to Safety proposed a fitness defense glove that resonates as a second skin that also couples with a deterrent if an assailant chooses to approach you.
I think this is where, and I want, even though I may know a little bit about it, I want us to remind the public, inform them, not just for your promotion, but to appreciate how we can make part of our everyday lives, impact others. But it also speaks to, I think, Charlie, what is transpiring within our community. We just saw the National Security Council get a briefing, and one of those things happened to do with personal safety, security, the crime and the like. So that changing dynamic that is unfolding in our society impacts the quality of life, impacts the mindset, impacts our health through perhaps our unwillingness to risk in our minds going out and exercising. We can take that back. I tie that into the discussion with the design competition. The more of us that see that, the more of us that can bring that collective ownership responsibility, supporting and nurturing the businesses, encouraging and empowering, but more importantly, recognizing that through shared collective, we can take our individual powers back. Right, Ms. Mason?
Yes, correct.
There you go. All right, so when we come back from the break, I want to ask a couple of things, more about your project, the product, take us through it, and then Caitlin, start back first with you as to why this initiative is important. It's the continuing endeavor. It takes a lot. You're giving a lot to the winners or the participants, not just the wonderful prize at the end of the day, but the encouragement, the support, that level of insight and mentoring almost. All right, we're going to talk about the business design competition offered at Cayman Enterprise City. The deadline looms. We'll tell you when it is. Give you a hint. There's only so many days in this month, and it's one of them. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab team would like to extend their congratulations to all of the Heroes Day awardees. Thank you for your service.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Apply today to the Walker's Scholarship and Legal Training Program. You will join the Walker's Scholarship and Legal Training Program, knowing that you will be offered more, both throughout your time in the program and after qualifying as a Cayman Islands attorney at law. Preparing Caymanians for a career of excellence through mentorship, opportunities, repetition, and experience. Be sure to have your application submitted by 28th of February 2023. Visit the careers section at walkersglobal.com to find out more about Walker's Cayman legal scholarships, articles of clerkship, qualifying work experience, and legal internships.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and I'm always grateful that when we have, our studio guests and they say, boy, despite being sort of cornered in the studio and I have a captive audience, they invite me, they let me talk and chat and they share their intellect and their insight. So Charlie Kirkernel, the CEO at Cayman Enterprise today, does a great job of accommodating. So Charlie, thanks very much, man. And to you and Miss Caitlin, and now we have the wonderful Miss Alyssa Manderson and Miss Lakeisha Mason. We're talking about the business design competition. As we go into the break, Miss Caitlin, this is the 3rd year?
Yep.
I wanted to know why continue with it. Is it important, and if so, why?
Yeah, so it's so important to be able to foster a community of entrepreneurs. So different entrepreneurs can lean on each other. They can get support. It's also important for us to help to create platforms for knowledge sharing, so they can tap into some of these industry professionals, grow their networks, work on public speaking, and, you know, get all the butterflies before the pitch day. So there's a lot of really exciting things as part of this competition that really help to instill some confidence into some of these individuals who might be starting a project for the very first time and starting their own journey as an entrepreneur themselves. So, I mean, it's just a fun experience. The deadline is the 31st of January, and between that date and the 1st of April is you just have that small amount of time to develop your idea within this network before you pitch in front of a panel of judges and an audience. So it's kind of like it finishes with a Shark Tank type event, which is so fun. So yeah.
No, today's what, the 15th, is it?
Yeah.
So the 31st, you know, 2 weeks away thereabouts.
Yeah.
What, you know, for today's the 16th? You sure? I still want it to be the 15th. Today's the 15th, okay? Because I missed my sister's birthday. Yeah, that was the 15th, so it has to be the 15th. No, today's the 16th, I know. Billy the hot birthday girl.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's just messaging doesn't do the scene job, huh? I should have baked the cake. See my team behind the scenes, how they will keep me on track. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate the correction.
Good team.
No, but all jokes aside, with the competition and with the deadline being the 31st, what, from respect to applicants, what they need to do to apply? If they have an idea, how developed does it need to be? What sort of information you need to get?
Yeah. So it just has to be at the idea stage. And when your application, from your submission and your application to your pitch, that idea can evolve drastically. So we just want an information on that idea. We also ask for your strengths and weaknesses. And we ask for weaknesses because we want to be able to find the instructors and the mentors that can help with you with those things. So if you're, say, I'm strong in marketing, but I'm not that great in finance, we can help to connect you with somebody who can support that aspect.
Sort of try to develop within you what you think are your strengths, where you would need more help with.
Exactly.
And even if you say, well, I'm good at marketing, and you realize, no, it's more than that, you can still get help, but emphasize.
Yes,
right.
So that's what the application form does. We actually have an online information session on this Thursday at noon. So if you have any specific questions or would like to hear more about the kind of nitty-gritty bit about the application process, do join us. It's this week, Thursday at noon.
So before we close out, we will get a reminder of, you know, how to apply, but is it open to everybody here?
Anybody that's over the age of 18
okay.
Can apply. They have to be a resident of the Cayman Islands, and that's it.
So once you're 18, legally resident here,
yeah.
Generational Caymanian, or you just come here last week,
anybody,
you're good to go.
Yeah,
right.
Anybody can apply.
Before we go to Miss,
one thing to emphasize, by the way, because we do get this question, it doesn't have to be a tech project. It can be any type of project. So if you have a business idea that you'd like to develop, please apply. It doesn't have to be a tech project.
Okay, thanks to emphasize that, because sometimes we probably think of what it is. Now, before I go to Miss Mason, Miss Manderson, anything you want to jump in and share with us?
Just encouraging, the wider community to come out, check out the online session on Thursday, and give your chance, give yourself a chance. It's a great opportunity.
So, Ms. Lakeisha, back to you. Just in case people are just joining us. You had an idea to make, and you told us how I guess the impetus, which sadly sometimes they say, necessity is mother invention, but sometimes things transpire that cause you to think it through. When you went to Cayman Enterprise, just remind us, your idea was more developed? Was it just the conceptual? Where was it at?
When I entered the competition, it was just at conception stage. So all of the listeners who are hesitating to submit, just go ahead, just step out on faith and put in that application in before January 31st.
Okay, so Ms. Caitlin, from that perspective, someone has an idea, as I use as an example. We like to sail catboats, boy, in the weatherboard is always this way, but what if I could do it this way? I wonder what if, just that idea, that would be sufficient?
That would be sufficient. On the website, you'll find a list of judging criteria. So it asks some questions. Does your idea solve a problem? Does it have a creative solution? Does your project have potential? So there's all of these different judging criteria that's on the website that can help to guide your submission.
And Charlie, what I would gather too is that, like anything, if you just say, for instance, you're taking a class in math, you're okay in math, you get better. If you're not okay in math, the class will help. So even the people who at the end of the day don't necessarily emerge as the successful winners, just being a part of the process could improve their thought processes, their successes.
Well, yeah, and I think there is a pitch competition at the end, but being the winner of that doesn't guarantee you success, and not being the winner of that does not guarantee that you will not be successful. The important part of the program is that everybody makes progress. Learns about their idea, and in many cases, projects, people will pivot because what they thought their idea was a great idea. It can be a great idea, but we need to change it a little bit. Or we need to refocus it. Maybe the target market is different than what I thought it was. And just, it's part of the process, and it's a very, very important part of the process. So even if you may not be thinking that, you have the world's greatest idea that's definitely going to win the competition, the process is important, and the progress that you will make is important. And keep in mind that it's not not even close to the end of the journey. It's literally taking your idea and basically giving it a little bit of battle testing, if you will. After that, there are so many more steps, but this first step is to test your idea and see whether it has legs, and then if it does, then we'll come back and speak to you about the Launch Labs incubator and other things.
And the thing is, many of us, when watching television, you'll see this infomercial that comes on of this thing, and for $19.99 or I've seen on TV, these are probably ideas that people were tinkering with for the longest time. They have a larger market, they managed to get it. This could be that thing. Let's make it from that perspective. Where is your product? But tell us more about it, if you can, if you wish. You talk about, exercise apparel that gives you sort of a sense of safety, but share with us, what is it? And is it for male and female, young and old alike?
So the defense gloves started off as a female fitness brand, but I expanded my target market. So now we're focused on resonating a skin-like finish that the glove would feel as a second layer of skin, not in addition to it. And also selecting our deterrent mechanism, because we do have to work around the regulations that do exist in the Cayman Islands, because we all know like pepper spray is illegal here. So we have to navigate those barriers.
Yeah, but you can get let me just stop there. Yeah, see, this is sometimes when I speak in my mind, but because I've heard about your product, right? And make sure I got the right product in mind. It has lasers coming out of it. It has a helicopter blade that can elevate you. That's not your product? Okay. Share with us, and this glove and plus the other parts. What more can you say to our listeners about it? And when will it be available?
So we're still in the works of developing a prototype at this time, and it also has an addition GPS system. So if you do need to reach emergency personnel from an assailant attack, that would be available as well.
Okay, so you may or may not have your phone on you. That may or may not get sort of tossed to the side, broken, or whichever. This would then have it. Wearable tech, almost, right?
Yes.
And then would it be sort of like needing sort of internet connection, Wi-Fi, and how that would be achieved in order to be able to have that call and that GPS positioning?
Yeah, so we have been asking ourselves those questions because we do want to develop an internal chip because throughout our initial research, we've discovered that many joggers don't like their phones on them because it's additional baggage on their journey. And also we've discovered that when presented in a situation with an assailant, especially females, they don't like to attack. They want the opportunity to get away from their assignment. So we want to provide that for them.
Potential siren or something that deter. You could even make it add a music component to it, where with their wireless headset instead of having the phone for their thing. So much potential. And the reason why I want to sort of emphasize that is again back to our initial discussion. Too many people, before we even try something, we discourage ourselves in everything. I'm not going to play for that job. I'm not going to do this. We find all of the negatives. So from your perspective, what was the workshops, the design competition, the whole process? What was it like being involved in that?
Yeah. The turning point for my project was the weekend workshops. Wonderful opportunity for networking. So I do encourage listeners, please submit those applications. It's a one-in-a-lifetime experience. It really made me sit back and solidified the story that I was telling and how I would relate that to potential investors. It really created an opportunity for all the finalists to really navigate and tell that story through our pitch deck developments, concept refinement, really an opportunity to really put yourself out there.
Did the experience, of the competition and, from that deadline of the application all the way through to the, all of the stuff that you want going, did that cement your resolve? Was it discouraging? Did it motivate you? Did it frustrate you? All of the above?
There were a lot of sleepless nights. That's just a typical day of an entrepreneur.
Yep.
From the very beginning, I put my application in. I emailed, asked questions. It was the best experience ever, once in a lifetime. I do encourage everyone to just enjoy the journey. As entrepreneurs, we always want to know the answer. I don't have everything solidified. I think it's about the journey. It's the beginning from here.
So true. So, Ms. Kate, when we come back, could you tell us a little bit about some of the previous projects, not just the winners, but some that were submitted, and maybe give us some insight so that hopefully people listening, it's the 16th. The 31st is tomorrow, basically. If you blink, it's over, right? And hopefully that person isn't, that's not for me. This project, they might, as Ms. Madison shared, they might be encouraged. Submit the application, who knows? So can we talk about that when we come back?
Absolutely.
All right, and I'm going to also ask, Ms. Mason, maybe what's next, for you? Perhaps, you can share with us some of the other things as well. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
60 and bossy with J and money. Win a trip in easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. A instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Scene, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proudy.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
The office's dermatologist, Dr. Wayne Porter, will be taking appointments from January 12th to the 21st at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks too for this opportunity to really highlight and showcase some of the great things that are unfolding within Cayman Enterprise today. The CEO, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, together with Ms. Caitlin Elphinstone and Mr. Alyssa Manderson. And last year's, sort of competition winner, Ms. Lakeisha Mason. What? Secret to Safety. It's a 2-part series preparing tonight. I'll get that voice down sometime, But I was asking before we went into the break, Ms. Caitlin, what are some of the projects in the past that either applied, some that made the cut, the winners? Just give us an idea.
Absolutely. They come from all sorts of different backgrounds, and I actually had to pull up the list here because there's so many amazing projects. So we had a website and sales tool that allows people to find anyone's email address. Connect Kind, which is a social hub for volunteers. A really cool cafe concept. Dark Horse Tan for body positivity and health self-tan. Gift Fairy, digital gift card app. The Wealth Club. Presto, on-demand laundry services. And then the year before, we had Biz Hub, which was the project of the year. And they have a really cool app for, it started off with car washes, and now it's expanded to multiple services that they can use in their app. And they actually went through the Launch Labs initiative, so that's a cool way of developing their project. Legal services, Caribbean Images, which is Caribbean visual content, Marine Life Guide, the Pet Chaperone, we can all guess what that is for, and a software factory company. So there's just such a wide range of projects. And again, just like Charlie's mentioned, it doesn't have to be a tech project, but it needs to be able to solve a problem and really kind of become an idea that could be, something that's substantial later on. So think big.
Yeah. I almost want to joke, Charlie. I want to ask you to laugh along. It's kind of like what my friend says, unlike the governments, that like to find problems for solutions, we're looking for solutions for problems. But I won't trade that joke today. Okay, thank you. No, but this is what is so motivating and encouraging, that we have an opportunity to get somewhere, something. And the 31st is just around the corner. You're looking for how many people, how many applicants?
So, of all the applicants that we receive, and we like to receive as many as possible, the top 10, there will be a selection process, and the criteria, as Caitlin has mentioned, is on the website, so it's completely transparent. And the top 10 ideas will be selected to participate.
So 10?
Correct.
And I mean, some of us, in the course of an hour, have 100 ideas. And some of them were good if we would just maybe jot them down. Now we can not just monetize them. So Ms. Mason, from that perspective, though, we have ideas. Many of us have some great ideas. Some of us write it down, some of us can draw it. And 30 years later, we'd find it and go, oh, that was a good idea. Yeah, it's now being marketed by somebody else. Or it's still sitting there and we're thinking, So how do you tell that person who's thinking? And then what do they do once they decide to make the next step in terms of commitment?
Okay, to that individual, I would tell them, stick with your intuition, follow your project through, and truly ask yourself, what's my story and why am I doing this? Because as entrepreneurs, I think we do pivot a lot. Oh, this isn't working. I don't have the funding. Next.
Yeah. Ms. Manderson, that's what you were sharing earlier during the break, not just the story, but the why. Why is that important?
Well, I would say the why is important because it keeps you motivated and encouraged on days that, you're just not feeling it. You can bring yourself back to your story and your why and, keep pushing from there.
And that's the thing, you have to feel it. That passion is one thing, but you don't only want to take ownership. This has to be meaningful to you. There's the impetus as to, why you want to do it and motivated you, but then you got to have that drive. It's kind of like going to work, right? You have to like it. Miss Gitley?
Yep, absolutely. Got to know why you're there.
Yeah, it's not just a paycheck, Yes. I mean, many of us have probably left jobs where the paycheck was good, but it didn't satisfy that thing within us.
Yeah, I mean, in any project, anything you do, anything that's important to you, you're going to have your moments where you get discouraged, and if you have that underlying motivation that helps keep you committed, focused, and driven, that's a very, very important element for an entrepreneur, because it's it's entrepreneurship is almost kind of romanticized, and seems and it's made to seem quite easy, and it seems like everyone's doing it and all this sort of thing. But at the end of the day, the successful entrepreneurs will have they'll have passion, but they'll also have deep underlying commitment, willingness to sacrifice, and just a very strong work ethic.
And part of this competition is you're not doing it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're there with other people who are going through the same headaches and pains and teething pains. So definitely sign up and be part of this community, because this is what we're trying to support, and we want lots of people to be involved.
Yeah, actually, and to Caitlin's point, that is, and maybe I overlook that sometimes, but one of the very important things that people say when they've completed, whether it's the business design competition or the incubator, the Launch Labs incubator, was that the connections and the kind of the friendships and that they made with their fellow travelers was worth the price of admission. It's free. Never shouldn't use that phrase. There's no cost. Sorry.
I guess time commitment.
It's worth the that in and of itself held immense value for the entrepreneur.
So let's talk about that. Applicants, they've put us through. They've been selected. They're, one of the 10. Let's say we have 1,000, we get 10. What is that commitment? I mean, the time, is it weekly, daily, and what?
So it is, a lot of it's kind of self-led, but you get paired with a mentor, and you have to meet with your mentor at least twice, but hopefully more between then and the pitch day. And then you have, last year was an intense 2-day weekend called the Design Weekend. And that is where you run through all of these workshops, you meet lots of people, at the end you go to networking events. We've actually split it up this year to run 2 Saturdays because it was pretty intense of a weekend. I think people needed another weekend day to digest the information. So they'll be running through that again. It was just a great way to meet professionals in the industry and then make those connections. So if you have questions later on, you know who to contact.
That's important. Lakeisha, Charles said, commitment, focus, and driven. And that's pretty much what it would be with most things. Is that something that we, to your mind, possess innately? That's something that we can develop and taught? What's your thoughts on that? I mean, either we have it or we don't. What do you think?
I think as entrepreneurs, it can be something that is developed once you have that why and you know your story. For me, being an entrepreneur and working a full-time job, you do have to commit to your story and to push that project through. You have to have that discipline.
So what's next for your project?
So next for Secret to Safety is solidifying our deterrent substance to navigate those existing regulations within the Cayman Islands, and also developing our website to actually educate the public on why our defense gloves are different from existing apparatus in the market.
I mean, not to you, but I was thinking as I listened to them, potentially this could be one of those public discussions that could help inform public policy, that could help to amend legislation and regulations, because we're looking at personal safety and security that transfers into an improved quality of life. We've got so many people who may not go out to exercise and may not go for that wonderful stroll, looking at nature just because. How do we do that? Ms. Madison, I mean, as you contribute, what final thoughts do you want to share with us?
Again, just encouraging everybody to apply. Like you said, on a daily basis, we have tons of ideas, and you just got to pick one and roll with it. Give it a chance.
And what is it we all were told by our parents? Nothing venture, nothing gain.
Right.
And nothing. So from that, how do we apply again? And the cost, I think, is quite affordable.
Quite affordable. It's absolutely free.
Free 99. Free.
Yeah, so it's 100% supported by Cayman Enterprise City. So you go to the Enterprise Cayman website. It's enterprisecayman.ky. And all the information is there. You can sign up for the info session that's happening this Thursday. And all of the judging criteria and the application form is right there at your fingertips. So
18 and older, once you're legally resident,
yep,
you can apply.
That's it.
Just if I was 18 next year, maybe. And Charlotte, again, thanks to you and the team for the continued commitment. I mean, it's a significant investment, not just money, but the time and the resources. What final thoughts you want to share with the listeners?
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank in advance all of the volunteers that, thank the people that have volunteered previous events as well, but in advance for the upcoming one. CEC, obviously, as Caitlin said, we underwrite the entire program. But part of what makes it possible for that to happen are that our community of volunteers, and that includes judges, workshop presenters, mentors, all of that. And so I'd like to recognize all of those people in advance of the upcoming business design competition. And without that network, the network that we've developed through the years of very, very capable and willing people, none of this would be possible.
Well, thank you all. And I'm looking forward to, between now and April, come on as you wish, but certainly after the selection, and to assist in any which way. To you, Mr. Gisho, much success in the project. Who knows what the next product might look like, right? So thank you so much. And welcome aboard, Ms. Manis.
Thank you.
All right, let's go into our headline news of one, but when we come back, I think there's going to be some open line. Let's see if Paul Akal will sing with me. Think we can do that, Paul? Look at that. He's excited. He's shaking his head. Is that yes? Is that no? We'll tell you when we come back. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Formal charges today for the 19-year-old Boddentown man arrested after the assault of an off-duty police officer last week. Police say he's been charged now with assault causing actual bodily harm, assaulting police, and theft. The suspect was due to appear in court today. In international headlines, search teams retrieved the flight data and cockpit voice recorders today from a passenger plane that plummeted into a gorge on approach to a new airport in the foothills of the Himalayas. This according to officials as investigators looked for the cause of Nepal's deadliest plane crash in 30 years. At least 69 of the 72 people on board were killed, and officials believe the 3 missing are also dead. Ukrainian emergency crews today have been sifting through what was left of a Dnipro apartment building that was destroyed by a Russian missile, placing bodies from one of the war's deadliest single attacks in months in black bags and gingerly carrying them across the steep piles of rubble. Authorities say the death toll from Saturday's strike rose to 40 and that 30 people remained missing today. About 1,700 people lived in the multi-story building, and search and rescue crews have worked nonstop since the missile strike to locate victims and survivors in the wreckage. The regional administration said 39 people had been rescued and at least 75 were wounded. Residents said the apartment tower did not house any military facilities. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25th, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brack,
Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbets. Mr. Dilbert was a hard-working man who spent numerous years at sea, as well as employing his diverse skill sets on land. In 1979, he would marry Yvette Jackson and took employment with Kimmenbrack Power and Light Company in 1981 as chief engineer, where he remained until his retirement in December of 2018. Heavily influenced by his wife, in 1982 he gave his heart to the Lord and joined her at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he later served as interim pastor in 2002 to 2007, becoming pastor in 2017. Mr. Dilbert was a charter member of the Rotary Club of Kimmenbrack, served as PTA president at Creek Primary School, worked with the youth in the community, president of the Veterans and Seamen Society, and was a member of the Development and Control Board Kimmenbrack until his passing. Royce was a devoted father to 7 children, loved to fish, and had a passion for cars.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, the toll-free line is there if you want to use 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Don't necessarily use the word bombarded a lot. I wouldn't even substitute it, with the word inundated. But if I combine those two words together and try to find something, it wouldn't even equate to what I've experienced in the last bit. A number of you, and I do sincerely share that I have not reached out directly and didn't, necessarily know exactly which direction do I go. But countless individuals, and perhaps someone can weigh in. And I've tried, but I won't go there yet, to send an email to the requisite entity over at DOT is where I thought the inquiry should go, to find out if there's any merit to what was shared. But a number of individuals, some of whom I recognize simply because they identify themselves, some of whom didn't have to. I realized that was John or Mary or Sue or Peter or the like. And with the exception of one individual, all seem to share the same concern. And it's not, to create fear or to aroma, but like I said, with the exception of the one individual, it was about the notion of, well, what were we asked not long ago to do because of, what we were experiencing, and what is it that's transpiring now, and how has that changed? And the allegation was, is there any truth that a cruise ship had come into port? There were, I heard 100 and I heard hundreds, but presumably a number of passengers who were COVID positive were given permission to come ashore. Now, some people, allege, well, that's probably the politicians, and of course they named the tourism minister and Mr. Saunders as the requisite individuals, simply because they're responsible for tourism and for border control. I did share, and in one case, they said to people, well, you would think that would come on there, but that's not necessarily the case. Got accused of defending the politicians. And I said, well, it's not that. It's just that we try to be objective. So if there is any merit to that, I'm sure we'll get, if not already, a proper press release addressing the issue, putting any fears to rest. But if people know, let's talk about it. I messaged one individual that called and sort of asked for some clarity in what we were discussing. His response was simply that if you think back to it, yeah, we're in a different time. Some jurisdictions have opened up, their borders and recognized that there was significant costs, as he said, and with his permission, I can probably share with you that here's an individual, not just because of his age, his experience in terms of education and, his jobs and the like, his travel, but just his life. He said, we learn. We sometimes go along with something because in absence of anything else, it might make sense. And in a time, we realize, well, we need to change that. He gave us an example. Countries open up their borders. The U.S. still has theirs somewhat closed and requiring things. Yes, there may be allegations of certain people being drunken with power and wanting certain authority, and sometimes people unwilling to justify what they have done, unable to do it for different reasons. But we try to be sensible and we try to do the right thing. But he says there are untold costs as to what this would mean for economies, for the people, respect to their health and their cost of living, their quality of life, to the notion that we've seen the impact on people's mental wellness and the like, from the children in our schools to from early years through university. We see the impact and the seemingly conditioned nature of people now when it comes to socializing, the sense of fear, the idea that we have to live with. So if you want to weigh in on that or anything else, the phone lines are there to share. And he did say, maybe it's a case of it's only 100 people. Yes, 20 people. It's probably more than that we need to be worried about. Again, he did share some other things, but let's take this call. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Very well. How about yourself? Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, good.
It was cold, huh?
Nice and cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is down more.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, you got open line, huh?
Open line, yes.
Okay. I want to hit on a couple of things, and we can elaborate after. Or hopefully someone in the government will call or plan it.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, they're trying to bring a bypass to the Newlands, right? And they came up there and cleaned the property.
Yeah.
The property up a couple of, nothing last year or whatever. I'm not sure when they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it all go right back up. I notice we going here now. They are there cleaning up this piece of property again, where they're going to make these roads connected into Newlands, and I guess come all the way down to Thompson roundabout and into Georgetown, whatever the case may be. I'm not sure how it's going to work. But Sterling, when I saw those guys that were working last week, I said, now you imagine they came and cleaned that up, let it grow up. Now that they're cleaning it up again now, I guess they're going to start to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, when you look at our roads, let's say, for example, for Nixon, West Day Road, the road that we have in Newlands, that we got a premier living up in Newlands, that needs to be fixed, and speed bumps, proper speed bumps. Nothing is being mentioned in regards to when these going to be taken care of. But they got all these roads being worked on here and there. Darling, how can you go and make a new road somewhere when you got old roads that need to be fixed before you even think about making new roads and so forth? To know that the roads are terrible, especially the 7-mile stretch, for Nixon Way, down in Newlands main road coming from countryside. Before you get to the bypass, you got a big drop off. There was about 3 feet into the side of the road. The kayak could go down in, and they got a bunk to come back up. And I know the premier and many more of those people are driving that road on a daily basis to know that little thing is there, and they got to skip from it, from drop it in it. If you remember, and know where it's located, not going to it. I can't understand how we can go and just keep filling roads after roads and not maintaining what we have now. Because Sterling, building more roads is not solving the problem. I was just on a bypass, we call it Dart bypass coming into Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
I was up there for 25 minutes trying to get to Butterfly, what about it name? Butterfield roundabout in A.L. Thompson. 25 minutes. And I back up on that traffic from the roundabout right after you cross the first roundabout by Dart coming into town on the back bypass.
Mm-hmm.
In the traffic like there's no tomorrow. So, I don't know really and truly what NRA is thinking, what the government is thinking. It's all these roads after roads, and we still having bottlenecks here and there solving the problem on this road. Is not roads.
Mm-hmm.
It is bigger than what it is. The government need to take this. How many in the house? How many members are in the house?
19.
19? They need to go and do a helicopter ride and look over this island. 7 o'clock in the morning, lunchtime, 5 o'clock up until 8 o'clock. They need to do a tour by air. And I know they know what's going on. But why they got the ears and eyes closed before, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Partly they can't get into it. But it's not looking good at Sterling, and something needs to be done. I'm talking about planning department. Planning department needs to be looked into.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Sterling, when you can take your private home and turn it into rental and got nowhere for your people to park throughout this whole island, where the fire trucks and the ambulance going to be able to get in and out of these roads when you got cars parked up on properly both sides, or there's a speed bump coming up close by, and so forth?
Mm-hmm.
Why eat the law? Well, the law is, I don't know the law is no more, because you make laws and they never work. Who is going to come on here and say, you know what? We need to keep these roads clear for the owners who live in here to flow in and out properly, and for emergency vehicles that could come into these residential areas, especially 1 and 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They ain't looking for no cars on the road. They're looking for a straight drive to try to go and save somebody's lives. You see where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Planning. You cannot go and put a shed in your backyard without planning permission. You cannot go and try to build a fence without planning permission.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what height you want, planning can say you're going to pay for 400 and change to apply for it, and you be turned down, and the money's not even guaranteed back.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you what you can do in your yard, that you go to the bank and take 25 years of mortgage and lost so many sleepless nights. They can come and tell you that you can't this and you can't that. But then again, we got people parking on the left and right center of the left and right in the residential areas, and you can't even get in and out properly.
Mm-hmm.
What about the security of people's lives when it comes to fire trucks and ambulance and whatever else that you may need to come in to save somebody's life?
Okay.
It is what Billy Bowers we have to know that the premier is in Newlands, and he lives in Newlands. And there's nowhere in the world that this man could have his eyes closed to so much thing that he did done into the Newlands area. We're going over 2 years done. We've got what, 4 years left. When are they going to start? You're not going to stop. You're not going to know tearing that place. The speed bump, the team put it. I assume it's temporary. You can glide over that like there's no tomorrow. So that was a waste of time. They won't come and fix the road. They're going to come this year. What time this year they're going to come? We don't know. Why can't they look at the little small man and make sure the small man is taken care of before we go? Darling, and don't mention the garbage. We just got some new garbage trucks just recently.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we?
I thought we did, like sometime last quarter last year.
Something so we must have got like 2 or 3 new garbage trucks or something so.
Uh-huh.
And you still getting one day pickup. This morning now when you drive in certain places, the garbage on the road pile up, I guess to pick up. And all these little small bags. And what's done in bags is all loose. Didn't they pass a law that day that's going to go and affect us charging homeowners and rentals for the garbage being disposed in appropriate ways for the guys to pick up?
You did reference that, and I must share, I didn't reach out to confirm that. Maybe something that we should look at to try to understand it more clearly. I know Mr. Sims and his team over at the Department of Environmental Health do a fantastic job. They're very responsive to the public, and I hope it's okay to say it this way, but the guys who collect the garbage on the trucks from day one to this morning, always found them to be helpful, respectful. They do a fantastic job. So it should be a service that, like many, we value and understand the cost and allocate the resources to share those costs as a country, because without that level of excellence, we would have a lot of more, potential health issues in our communities, because the garbage isn't being collected timely or properly.
It's not properly. And something needs to be done about it, because it's these people who pick up our garbage for us, they are human beings. They have families to go home to too. They don't have families, they have themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why should they have to come up pick up some of the garbage that is so all messed up and bags are tore up or just thrown there loose? Not even a cornflakes box they want to tear up and put in that garbage bag.
But if I may, through you, as we discuss this, invite the public to consider some things a little bit, and I'll use the word consideration now. Some might say common sense, some might say other things, but listening to you, if we take our garbage out, whether people pay us for our garbage, whether we have to pay for it to be collected, wouldn't it sort of make sense that we bag it up in an appropriate way, we put it in an appropriate place for it to be collected? I mean, there's so much that
it should be.
I hope the Honorable Tourism Minister don't mind me referring to him, but his comments on social media sometime recently about the nastiness in our society and the nasty people and however he referenced it. I only say that because there is 1 or 2 other ladies who publicly from time to time have said something similar about the nasty behavior that we see in our communities, including, I see her, the great gentle lady, Miss Lucille Seymour, when she talk about the behaviors that we shouldn't encourage in our society. So what do we do as a people to make sure that whether it's littering, whether consciously or not, whether it's the inattentiveness, the inconsideration, the maliciousness, the whatever it is that we would say, we just throw our garbage down? I'll give us an example. I'm yet to figure out how me as an individual can say to people, well, why are you throwing your beer bottle, your soda drink can, your cigarette butt, your whatever, just down there? I mean, is it going to just magically disappear? Are you expecting somebody to come behind and pick it up? I mean, why do we do that? And we see that happening very often. So how do we get people to realize that that's probably not a safe, sanitary practice? It's probably not sensible. What do we do? Do we cuss them out? Do we constantly talk to them? I mean, what do we do?
Sterling, let me tell you something. If the government, whoever they are, do not make it mandatory and make it a must and keep their foot on it, and if the people of the island decide to step in, then there can be bloodshed. Some going to the ground and some going northward.
Okay.
Why it's so hard that the government cannot make sure that this place is being kept?
Right. But I hear what you're saying, and again, through you as we talk and others are listening, let me ask a couple of things. Look at now, and I can talk about it later, but just in this context, we now have an extension of the NICE program. These individuals are going out there, irrespective of our perspective on why they're doing it and whichever. But they're cleaning up the roads, and we can see the positive impact of them cleaning the roads up in the morning when we're leaving. How many of us are noticing that same stretch of road that was clean a few hours earlier, now again littered with beer bottles, soda cans, plastic bags, styrofoam, whatever the garbage is. It was clean this morning when we left to go to work and school, and by the time we get home 3 hours later or 8 hours later, there's garbage there again. So that speaks to me to something that is not quite right. So I say that to ask, to your point, well, the government needs to do something. The government needs to make it mandatory. Is it that we need to pass more laws? Do we need to enforce the laws? Or is it that as a people, I heard your point about bloodshed, as a people we need to say, wait a minute, this isn't the society we want. Do we want government to take a heavy-handed approach? So today, for instance, if they did, it's about littering. You know what? You just littered. It's now a fine, $50,000 fine, not a $5 fine. It's a $50,000 fine, and you're going to spend 5 years in prison. And there's no, I'm being very excessive and very deliberate in so doing. You're going to take it to the court right away. You're going to be sentenced, and that's that. You know, we're not taking this. Only to emphasize that if the government was to do that today, and we ask the government to do it, we accept the government doing it because it's a problem. If they do that on the garbage and the littering today, what about tomorrow when they decide, you know what, wow, we could do it. Tomorrow, the new law is, you know what, if your hair isn't dyed blue, you're going to go to jail. I mean, that's a very, 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 very huge leap. But the reason why I put it in that way is, A, do we want government to have that sort of authority without us as a people weighing in? And two, why is it that we must expect that the government should legislate and enforce the legislation as opposed to us as a society saying that is not the society that we want? I'm not hearing you, Mom. Sorry, not here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom.
Everything you just said. And government brought partially this down upon us because of population. They brought the majority of this down upon us because they want population.
No, increase the population.
So increase the population. So if you got to increase population, you got to make sure you got things in order. That when you do your population, this is what Cayman is all about, and this is how we're going to keep Cayman, and so forth. People are just here freely doing as they like. I a police officer that he passed a car. What a police officer? He called it was flying or something. A police officer said, "But it is this. Seen if that car in the mine? They didn't turn around and follow that car. It means somewhat about somewhere. We say, look at that. Look at that. Just look at that." But Sterling, I want to hit one more thing before hang up on me.
Of course, no, but you choose the topic and the timing. Go right ahead.
All right. I just want to say that here in the taxi business, and I'm going to hold Mr. Kenneth Bryce because I heard him on the radio some time ago stating that all those that work from the street as a taxi driver when the cruise ships are in, they will all be brought in. I'm going to call it the pen, that is the pavilion where they come and meet and so forth and go down to the pier. Now, I don't think that could possibly work to a degree because the pier is very small and it wouldn't work to a degree. I got to use that term. But the fact that I'm saying is people are coming here to the compound to pull in number, coming here from 5:30 in the morning to wait till 6 o'clock to close to pull a number. And then the those that do not come in here, that work on the street, they have the privilege to walk ahead of someone who came from the compound and get their people and go their merry way. I am not saying they can't have piece of the pie. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's entitled. But do not have half up in the bush. We call it bush and do have half out in the main street. You understand? That cannot work. So how Mr. Bryan planning on fixing this tourism. I can't wait to hear how he's going to fix it.
Well, go ahead.
One more thing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Mm-hmm.
Up at the pavilion where they call the holding ground,
mm-hmm.
they say all now they can't get Mr. Bryan to come to this compound and talk to them,
mm-hmm.
to ask them their opinion or on anything, or come to meet them, or come to congratulate them, or anything in any shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
He has not come up to the compound since he took the seat for tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Why he hasn't come here, I don't know. I have nothing personal against him. But he says well for the Caymanians, works for the Caymanians, and yakety. Well,
right.
You got to stand with the people.
Mm-hmm. So I can ask. I mean, I understand the reference to Mr. Bryan as, in his capacity as minister, where that sort of falls within his portfolio. But two questions. One, why we, as a people, wait for the politicians? And then, yes, ma'am?
Don't say another word. Wait 1 minute. Let me tell you what Mr. Cornell did us.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to come and have a meeting up here at the pavilion with us.
Uh-huh.
He sent someone else. He wouldn't come. That's how degrading this job is, and that's how degrading and how disrespectful the government is to the taxi drivers.
Okay. So,
sent someone in his place to come to talk to us up here some years ago.
Uh-huh.
When he was supposed to come. Now can it not come in period? He hasn't reached here yet.
Mm.
You thought this would have been the first stopping ground.
Right.
But I understood he must have went down to the pier. But that's not good enough to say all the taxis are at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Well, I guess you saying that indirectly sort of answers the second question I'm going to ask. In the absence of the politicians coming, when you, as a sort of border corporate, as a group of people believing that you should have an audience, you're requesting it, and they don't respond, why then do we wait again for the politicians to do something? Why are we waiting for them to act? If it's us that have been affected by it.
Get ourselves in trouble. If we decide after I get in trouble.
Okay, so is it then that as a people, we don't know how to organize ourselves? We look at, chambers of commerce around the world. We look at associations of professionals, whether they're lawyers or doctors or, engineers or the like. They organize themselves. Is it then that we don't know how to negotiate amongst ourselves, how to come to some sort of agreement, and then how to take that unified voice and present our position to say, hey, this is how we're being impacted. Do we need somehow maybe figure out how to do that? Okay, we're losing you again, okay?
I cannot blame that on coronavirus. Because now coronavirus they were brought increase in everything that we got to purchase, but never raise our salaries on the island or on the island.
Right. But I'm glad you referenced that, because I think that's part of the challenge. We are maybe too willing to let other people make decisions. Is it because we don't want to say, well, boy, I made that decision, now it didn't go right. I don't want to be blamed for it. Is it that we are just so preoccupied with so much? I'm wondering what it is.
I know what it is. Don't care.
Well,
all it boils down to some people get in a high position or in medium position and no position, and they forget that we all live on a baby island. Certainly I'm not here to beat down Kenneth or no government, but the fact of the matter is we all have to live here, and we got few Caymanians left, and we have no one to stand up for us. They knock the door down when it's time for election, and once they get in, they make all the rules and regulations. They never stand by them, and they never come out and ask you your opinion. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Well, I think that...
I want to say one more
yes.
thing.
Go right ahead, man. Go ahead.
The nice program. Okay? Now, I understand that, I don't know who has the person, the people doing it, but there's a company now who's cleaning our streets for us. If we got a nice program that's coming out twice a year, once a year to clean for Christmas to get a couple of dollars in their pocket. Why we can't get these nice program people in one circle? Get one man to run this circle and send these team guys out to clean our street, and they will have a salary coming in every week.
Well,
why are we going to give it to the man that already established business and came on for years, and he haven't established anything in years gone by? He ain't got established anything in 2023, 24, you hear me?
Right.
Our government, whoever they are, their vision is very dim.
Right.
They don't see no further than their nose point.
Well, I mean, two things, and I appreciate you calling. One, I don't think even the individual that just joined us can infer that you said anything disparaging about any of the politicians. You were just making a point, as you referenced both the current tourism minister and Mr. Kirkconnell, the previous one. But secondly, as you shared that, though, I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing an apathy amongst us as people, and then a potential arrogance amongst whether it's the politicians or people in power. So if you have the apathy and you have the arrogance, I think the consequence of that isn't going to be that that appealing. So how do we get to a place where, again, as a populace, we're doing the right thing and we're making sure the right thing is being done?
We just need a few crazy Caymanians come and put their foot down and say, you know what? Enough is enough.
Well,
the bee is almost half dead and the cow is almost half dead. Berlin, I can't talk to them more, but I got to make an error.
You go ahead. Can I ask you one last thing, please? And you can let me know privately. I got a number of calls and messages from individuals, and I do not have the answer. It was about allegedly on a cruise ship that came in with a number. Somebody say hundreds, somebody say 100 of COVID positive passengers, and they were allowed to, come ashore. Can you quietly check your wonderful network of resources and let me know if there's any truth to that?
Okay, well, I didn't work this weekend. We had both Saturday and Sunday. I didn't work.
It was yesterday I heard, but okay.
I overheard a taxi driver say this morning that boat was in with COVID, but nothing else was said.
Right, well.
So I don't have any details of anything, what ship it was.
Right.
I'm sure how many people it was, but I didn't work.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I had worked, I would have found out, but I don't know anything, baby.
That's fine.
Somebody said that the ship had COVID on it.
Yeah, but thank you.
The whole day in the island, they were here all day because I was in town with my grandkids, and when I thought the boats were still up there.
Yeah, but thank you for that, and you enjoy your afternoon, okay?
Yeah, you too.
All right. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Let's pause and take this break. When we return, the phone lines are there. We have a wonderful team that answers, depending on who you call. And if you don't know how to call today, we'll call and see who answers and see what you think. 949-8037, 949-6990, or 1-800-534-8255.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab team would like to extend their congratulations to all of the Heroes Day awardees. Thank you for your service.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day.
Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. Increase your chances to win during the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Don't miss Double Stamp Tuesdays and Thursdays at Jose's Rubis. Reflections offers you gas for less, and each time you fuel up at Jose's Rubis, you can enter to win weekly prize giveaways, plus the grand prize of a beautiful piece of land in Grand Cayman.
I'm sorry, what?
What did you say? Yes! Double Stamp Tuesdays and Thursdays are back at Jose's. Lower priced fuel, awesome prices, and your chance to win a $150,000 piece of land. Don't forget, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Jose's Rubis, you not only get gas for less, you get double stamps to enter to win a $150,000 piece of land in the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Be entered to win in the Rubis Pure Joy promotion by January 27th.
It's time to update your information. If you've recently changed your mailing address, phone number, or email address, please let your Water Authority customer service team know. Remember, non-receipt of a bill does not constitute a release from liability for payment. Visit our website, www.waterauthority.ky, to download and fill out our customer information update form. Or you can contact our customer service team at info@waterauthority.ky or call 949-2837.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It's Monday. It's open line. What a good way to get a discussion and share our thoughts as we go straight to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling. Well. It happens, and it will be what it will be. Well, 949-8037, 949-8037, 949-6990. The toll-free line, we're told, is open and available. So if you call and you find that you still have a recording that says, well, you can't stay online unless you pay for it, let us know. If you happen to can't get through on it, you can call and let us know on one of those other numbers, or WhatsApp us at 925-3261. But we understand it's working, and we want to thank Flo for their continued support and sponsorship for that toll-free line. Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine, and you? Happy New Year.
Thanks, man. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, well, I hardly get to listen anymore, but the COVID got me listening.
Well, let's hope you recover and all gets well.
Yeah, well, so far, first time during the whole period, I didn't get sick.
Thank God, yeah. I hope you recover, man.
With the job that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long to catch you.
Yeah.
Just meeting the wrong person, just saying hello.
That's the thing, boy. At least there's no more the common cold and flu now. It's just COVID, yeah? At least for the last couple of years, no? Yeah.
I might have never been sick in my life.
You see that, huh?
So I was.
Well, at least you got a vaccination, so you should be okay.
No.
Okay.
I didn't take any vaccination because there's no disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I've seen, okay, like my boss, he had it, had all these shots. Yeah, he had double boosters, and still catch it about 3 or 4 times.
Wow, even with it.
I going through that experience, I said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I told the doctor when I went there last Tuesday, I said, I feel like catching a cold, but he said, well, we don't find no record, did you? I said, no. Anyway, I said, I feel like it. He had me there from 1:30 till 5:30 before to start 10 to him.
Wow.
All that while, you see the second that they found out that's what that was?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like I was the most dangerous man on earth. Oh, stay right there. Don't come any closer. I will get your medication for you.
Oh, boy.
Get that, and I never heard anything from him since.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
But it still goes to show that, okay, but the government, they do good things, but they shouldn't let the guard down. They shouldn't let the guard down. 90% of people, or 100%, coming in here should at least be tested in some form.
Okay.
But they're doing this because of a political thing, listening to the talk, people talk.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people are right. These people are just, they know what to do, but it's all about that election coming up and who they can trick, and who they can tell this, who they can tell that. If you did today, right, they'll tell you tomorrow. oh, that killed her. It was not, or it happened this way. But they got to put it in line that they don't take the blame.
Suits them.
Yeah. That is really sad, to know, because I know I'm 67 years old, and if I wasn't conscious of what I was doing, I could have probably been dead. Or because they let in whoever they feel like letting them in because they got money, or because this rich Caymanian organization that they're linked up with is balling for more money. So let these people in, and who survived. But that's a sad case, because in these times now you can find a lot of people getting sick. Yeah, I soon come. Sorry.
That's okay, man. Go right ahead.
And those things are not good,
Well, it's again back to us as a people to be involved and informed, and hopefully, through that we can impress on the people that what's important to us,
Yeah, but you gotta be so careful, because like I said, my brother, I'm chasing down that number, and I feel like I'm 10 years old. If I lose my hair in my head, I got a good word to me, not right.
Yeah, man. Well, you see, you live a good life, you live with a good heart, and who knows, 30 years from now you'll be calling me up and we'll be talking more about it, and you might feel like 12 then instead of 10.
Yes, all right.
All right.
And then another little thing I would like to say. I've been trying this for a long time, and I'm scared, but I decided it's near them. My oldest son is 40-something years old. They got him listed as a mental health patient. For over 25 years, we've been taking him to the doctor. They've been treating him. And this is torture. I make it short because, I'm so uptight. Many times he comes to me, he said, Daddy, save my life. So I said, what happened, bro? He said, Daddy, these people going to kill me, I said, kill you? He said, yeah. Anyway, the injection that they give them, put them that they got to crawl on their knees, put them that they want to use the bathroom, can't use the bathroom, put them that they see people and can't talk, put them that they sometimes become the biggest zombies and face this hurt. Sometimes I love my son, I love everybody, child. And when I see that kind of thing, it boils up in me. I say to myself many times, I said, and for the record, not a threat. But I see what Bin Laden did, what he did, because the two sides of a coin. I go back to this, I say, why imagine your own child is begging for help, telling you these kind, and you see when he not up on those injections, he got more sense than me or you, God forbid. I can drive him from West to the East End, and he said, Daddy, see him to go in it. I went to school with them, I graduated with them, Yeah, man, he said, we had good time. And next couple of days, if you see them same people, he don't know, man, the moon who he is. He looked at me as if who the hell are you? All because he's up on his knee, these injections. Well, this is the sad part came on, and this is the living truth.
Yeah.
There was one time when they went to him, they were giving him tablets. He had a dog named Bruno. Dog that he loved more than he loved himself because of being so an intelligent dog.
Yeah.
They gave him the 2 tablets. The police stand up. They're grinning. Well, they ain't no better. It should be them to take it on. But anyway, he took the 2 tablets from the doctor, male nurse. They turned their head and laughed. He turned his head and spit him out to his dog. The dog picked him up. Here was your child, my child, and you could spoon up, They did give you this kind of thing. He looked around 5 minutes later, and his dog was dead stiff in the concrete floor, 4 legs in the air.
Wow.
And that's what you giving to me, and saying that you care. That's what you giving to me, saying, my people don't know A from B. My people don't know sunset or sunrise. The whole problem is this is a power thing. They form their organizations, and they feel like with you, and if you say anything, they lock you up. I hear the people refer to it on the radio all the time. You got to be careful. you better it, go be careful.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful place, but the most dangerous place on earth as far as I'm concerned now.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful when I was growing up. No cars, no electricity, no shoes. Sleep with the doors open.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs you now, huh? Yeah. Hey, touch base with me off air if you can. Yeah. Paul, if you can get the number for the gentleman there, that would be nice. You can hear the father, the love of a father. You can hear, his heart. And maybe I'll talk to him in a second. Let's take this call first, though. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon. All right, 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037. Of course, the WhatsApp, 925. Yes, sir.
Hello. No, I didn't know whether you're talking to me or...
No, we had another call on. There was a little challenge there, and we're just trying to reconnect the phones. We knew it was a different call, so we'll do that. But thank you so much for calling, sir. Again today,
Yeah, I just have to say it. Two things.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I understand the dilemma that gentleman was in, because he's quite a bit younger than I am. But we can't expect that animals would react the same way the tablets meant for human beings. Things that we take as medicine would kill an animal. I'll repeat that. It would kill an animal. Normal things that help to keep us alive.
But let me ask, and I appreciate your perspective, but just so that I understand.
That's why it says so on the bottles, and we know this.
Right, but we used to, at some point, and I'm hearing this has changed now, we have talked about the lab mice and the like, they would...
Yes, I know all
So if we test something on...
human rights and this animal rights and things like that.
Fair enough, but...
the test on animals.
But to your point...
But to a certain degree, a certain measure, and then we utilize it, see how they react, and so forth. But that doesn't say that we should try our animals with our tablets.
No, fair enough.
That we think,
fair enough. But if we take something and it affects us, and then we give it, as the gentleman shared, and the dog picks it up, that was meant for us. But if it has such a fatal consequence for the dog, would that probably say that might not necessarily affect us in a positive way?
Maybe it would have.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but Sterling Dwayne, a cigarette, the nicotine that they're saying 2 cigarettes, which many people smoke packs a day. I have read this from doctors from many years ago and huge medical biologists that it would kill a dog.
Yeah.
What a normal smoker takes in a couple of hours or less would kill a dog if you give them that.
Right.
So that'll tell you, and that's knowledge known from many years ago. Incidentally, I was just thinking, the 12th of this month was 44 years since I gave up smoking. Never missed it. 44 years.
44. Wow. Excellent.
What I'm going to say is this. I heard you early on talking, I think it was Miss Jana and all that, about people organizing and getting together. You've got to understand, we're probably the only country I can think of that doesn't have a labor union or any kind of a trade union for the ordinary worker, for the worker, the tradesman, the worker. You have the Chamber of Commerce, which is the employers' union. The employers' union, the powerful union for the employers. You have the Accountants Association, Chartered Accountants. That's Accountants Union. That's the union for them. The very, very high earning people, as we all know. You have the Financial Association. Then you have the lawyers, the Bar Association. There's the lawyers. There's different associations for lawyers. So they have and they set the benefits that they like in a unified voice and stick together to it. We have no labor union here. All the countries around us have. And that's the major difference. That's the unified voice. That's the unified voice for the little man.
Right.
A labor union. And that's the thing that's missing in Cayman.
So, but
we know if you wanted to try to start one here, it would be muffled by the powerful private sector. That's why it has never come to anything.
Right. So let me ask then, and you're right, if I'm hearing you correctly in saying that you have the employers, union, then you have the workers union. Are you saying that in order to get that semblance of balance and fairness and be able to negotiate, you need to have this employer's representative in order to talk with the employees? Would that then lead to confrontation and discord, or is it possible
always there is confrontation in working.
Okay.
Always be. How you're talking about a voice for the people. That's what you're saying.
But is that not...
You have a unified voice.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's going to be confrontation? Let's be realistic.
Right. But let me ask then, is that not what the government of a day should do relative to the legislation and enforcement?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
No. We have a Minister of Finance and we have a Financial Services Minister.
But do we also have a Minister of Labour as well?
They are, but the Minister of Labour, where that's almost non-existent. This is what I'm saying. I am not going to tell you that the government is wrong in doing what they're doing or trying. But we've got to understand this is a system that we have accepted. I remember when people get on the radio, very, very well-known activists and all, and I say, no, we can't have it. People running for politics said, we can't have a union, we don't want to go that way. What way? Most of them have never been in a union. I have been. I have been in the wealthiest, most powerful union. It's not the largest. Then the communist countries and other countries have these unions, which are just figurehead things, sort of. Not really. But the Teamsters, right? People have heard about it and say, oh, well, it's a mafia country. The mafia gets into everything. But it looks out for its people. It looks out for a proper pension, for proper weight that you must limit it to a lift and so forth. And that's very important because the insurance companies are not going to cover you. If
but
you
should that...
And this is it.
Yeah. But Mr. McGill, should that not what the government of the day should be doing relative to the laws?
Not necessarily. No. Let us... they would have to have so many people that are looking out, and then the private sector would get up and bring constitutional rights and so forth against this kind of thing.
Right.
You definitely would need a organized system.
Okay. So let me ask then, right?
The labor.
Yeah. And this is why I really enjoy you...
England has it. I mean, by other country, by the dozens and the hundreds of unions, powerful unions they have there. You saw recently postal unions, this, that, and the other. The United States has. They have certain things that the president can override, like the airlines and the railway, which was overridden from many years ago by a president because transportation is so important around.
But we saw what U.S. President Reagan did with deregulation relative to airlines.
No. What he did was when I was living here at the time,
air traffic control?
The air traffic controllers went on strike. And you can't have that.
Right.
So that's federally regulated. So he had the Air Force brought in, and I watched them when they were there, and the Army protected them on Air Force Special Division and Special Forces Guard protected them when they went up to the towers and said, we are in control now, and that is it. You cannot stop the transport. You shut down the country. You can't do that. Those are exceptional things. We don't have that worry about something like that here.
But back to what you're sharing, right, if I might ask. I mean, at one point it was called the Department of Labor. Now we have work, or we have those things. So I keep
understand.
Right, I keep asking, if we have And you're right, professional associations that self-regulate, we think of other jurisdictions, including our own, with doctors and lawyers and the like. But if
they have their own union, the doctors, right? I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, if we have that, I keep asking, is it not for the government of the day to ensure that the laws protect its people, especially if we have a minister for labour and we have all those things? I mean, isn't that part of what the government should be doing?
Well, we see the inability of the government. I'm really sticking my neck out on this issue here. That to even get a proper minimum wage in place. They're dithering about whether a minimum wage or what the heck else they call it, something like a working wage.
Yeah, living wage or something.
I mean, people don't seem to even understand what a minimum wage is. A minimum wage is a minimum at which people can exist. It's very simple. Every country has that. I think Bermuda's is $12.50 US because they're on par with the US dollar. They long ago got away from this difference of the U.S. to their money. Yeah. They're in the same business that we are in, handling big monies for people. So let's not go into that. We all know that. The very same business, and they're British Crown territory, Crown colony, overseas territory, whichever terminology you choose to apply to it, depending on the people you're talking to, on the circumstances on which you're speaking. You can say either of those 3 or 4 different meanings. But the thing is, they have unions here, and they have raised their wage rate, and they have it at $12.50, which would be 10 Cayman dollars. But we are still laboring at $6 and $5.50 and $4.50 and finding excuses on us. So it shows that we are in a sort of powerless situation dealing with the powerful private sector. So with the only thing that you said, a unified voice amongst the people, the people would not be the elected people. If you're talking about the people would be those who elect those who stand up for us. As I see it here right now, how the system is. The people, our elected representatives of Parliament it is now, God bless them for having the courage to stand up and do this. Those who are not ministers are mainly the district council members. That's how I see it. They're district council members bringing it, and they have a vote.
Yeah, Mr. Mickey.
They have a vote in the House.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we have the news break. You want to call us back or stay on so we can talk about it?
I understand. I'm just trying to get that across the concept of unions. Because if you're talking about a unified voice, it's a union. That's why it's called a union, for Christ's sake. A unified voice. That's it. If you're talking about that, I'm not going to back down on what I just said.
No.
It's up to the people. Do they want it? Do they have the courage?
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
Yes, sir.
I don't think so.
Right.
I really don't think so.
Yeah. Hey, thanks very much, sir.
Call back maybe if you have the time.
Yes, sir.
You want to listen. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Always want to listen, so hopefully you will. And others as well. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
A special valedictory ceremony in honor of former Chief Justice Sir Anthony Smellie, KCMG, is just about to get underway. The ceremony is the official farewell and valedictory ceremony in honor of the retired Chief Justice and the unveiling of his official portrait. In international headlines, newly empowered House Republicans are demanding the White House turn over all information related to its searches that have uncovered classified documents at President Joe Biden's home and former office in the wake of more records experts found at his Delaware residence. Representative James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, says he wants to see all documents and communication related to the searches by the Biden team, as well as visitor logs of the president's home in Wilmington, Delaware, from January 20th, 2021 to the present. He says the aim is to determine who might have had access to classified material and explain how the records got there. The White House Saturday said it had discovered an additional 5 pages of classified documents at Biden's home on Thursday. That is the same day a special counsel was appointed to review the matter. While still grappling with the fallout from a company he did take private, beleaguered billionaire Elon Musk is now facing a trial over a company he didn't. Long before Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion in October, he had set his sights on Tesla, the electric automaker where he continues to serve as CEO and from which he derives most of his wealth and fame. In an August 7, 2018 tweet, Musk claimed that he had lined up the financing to pay for a $72 billion buyout of Tesla, which he then amplified with a follow-up statement that made a deal seem imminent. The buyout never happened, and now Musk will have to explain his actions under oath in a federal court in San Francisco. Jury selection for the trial begins tomorrow. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean, and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab team would like to extend their congratulations to all of the Heroes Day awardees. Thank you for your service.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Increase your chances to win during the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Don't miss Double Stamp Tuesdays and Thursdays at Jose's Rubis. Reflections offers you gas for less, and each time you fuel up at Jose's Rubis, you can enter to win weekly prize giveaways, plus the grand prize of a beautiful piece of land in Grand Cayman.
I'm sorry, what?
What did you say? Yes, Double Stamp Tuesdays and Thursdays are back at Jose's. Lower priced fuel, awesome prizes, and your chance to win a $150,000 piece of land. Don't forget, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Jose's Rubis, you not only get gas for less, you get double stamps to enter to win a $150,000 piece of land in the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Be entered to win in the Rubis Pure Joy promotion by January 27th.
The application deadline for Education Council Overseas Scholarships for the 2023-2024 academic year is Tuesday, 31st of January 2023. To apply for an Education Council Overseas Scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship programs before the deadline, please visit the Ministry of Education's scholarship application portal at www.moescholarships.gov.ky or email the Scholarship Secretariat Unit at scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. 949-8037, 949-6990, and toll free at 1-800-534-8255. For the one or two callers who have had an issue calling and then before they connect and this sort of dropping or disconnecting, we're not quite sure what that is, but they say persistence and perseverance pays off. So try us back. Hopefully we can make the connection. 949-6990, 949-8037, or toll free 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255. And of course you can WhatsApp 925-3271. Open line for the next 22 minutes and 18 seconds or so left of our show. We might make it exactly that, but we'll see it. So give us a call and share your thoughts with us. To the gentleman, the father who called earlier, sort of sharing his heart with us relative to his concerns about his son, and as he shared, his son has some mental health, things to deal with and the like, and his concerns, sometimes the medications, the injections and the like that are given can, his words, make the like zombies, he said, and it speaks to the whole issue of how we look at this as part of our overall health and well-being, and how do we respond to it, and how do we as a society be more resourceful, more respectful, and more willing to understand the challenges. If she would allow us to highlight the excellent work that she's doing with Loud Silent Voices, we see the challenges. Ms. Jackie and the team are doing a fantastic job. I greatly appreciate Dr. Alexandra Borden in particular, as she helps us facilitate the monthly mental health matters so we can talk about those issues. Something that we see in other jurisdictions, that they're trying to figure out how to better respond to these calls that many times would go to the police. A family is having an issue and not quite sure what to do. And I think whether it's conditioning, whether it's out of sense of desperation, we call the police and they come out, and sometimes it's a challenge. So we see other jurisdictions saying, well, the people to respond are social workers and healthcare providers and mental health workers and the like, to be able to deal with this. We know from media reports at the Westfield Police Station not that long ago, according to what was published publicly, an issue where a family member was having some challenges, another family member, brother, I think the public accounts were, managed to get the fellow sort of calm down, and only for it now to escalate at some point where everyone, including the brother and the mother, were seemingly hit with those electronic tasers. Now, I guess, like many things, when we are faced with these situations, they can be frightening when you're not quite sure what to do, when you perhaps don't have the resources and the requisite skill sets and like to de-escalate situations. It just speaks to how challenging it can be. I can imagine many things where you're dealing with the same thing over and over, or you're not sufficient a resource, or it's becoming you won against the masses. It may mean that your response isn't necessarily the one in hindsight with requisite training and time to self-assess and to have it reassess. You would have probably liked to have responded differently. Probably no different than what the gentleman said. Sometimes maybe it's as a consequence, hopefully it's not the routine protocol, but maybe it's a consequence of not sure what to do. But we know if we give this injection, it'll cause the person to be sedated perhaps and rest. And maybe what is the requisite training? I mean, it wasn't that long ago we would read about lobotomies being the way that we would approach this thing. hopefully those are no longer the practice at all, customary or otherwise. Now, not to share that we are fully cognizant of what's happening, but even if it is the apparent, sort of view of some, whereas the prevailing perception otherwise, that we are not necessarily as respectful, that perhaps there are allegations of abuse, perhaps there are allegations of neglect, that we don't ignore them and appreciate that in many contexts we don't necessarily have the full picture, but it is how we approach. Think, for instance, the teacher in the classroom, she has 25, 35 students. It's her one. There's one disruptive child. How do we deal with that? What do we do about that child and figure out why that child is being disruptive? Is it that we provide that teacher with one or two or more physical bodies to assist, to be able to interact with the children, to instruct them, to engage and involve them? Is it that we as parents become increasingly involved? Is it that as employers that we ensure that there's sufficient time for families to be able to spend? We look at the growing impact of the traffic congestion and the incessant complaints of the amount of time it takes us. It wasn't long ago that many of our family and friends and co-workers coming from the eastern districts would share that it was 3 hours in the morning and perhaps as long or longer in the evenings to go to work and to get back home. How does that affect the people's quality of life, their family time together, their meal choices? Not just to sit and eat a meal, but what are they eating? Or what about the whole issue of all the other things that are unfolding in our society, and how are we addressing them, and what impact will it have on us, not just now and our individual quality of standard of living, but future generations? And is it that we believe that the answer lies in the elected or appointed government? Is it for us to come on alongside each other? Well, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Whether it's on the whole issue of mental health, it's been in the media recently, but are we again having sort of reactive responses as opposed to a well thought out, deliberate, conscious and conscientious approach to our education and the like? Well, let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome, good afternoon, thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon, thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon again. Talk to me.
Yeah, man, it's me again.
Yeah, man. I hope you got it solved, Yeah. All right. Want to be able to hear you. I'm not hearing you well.
You hear me?
I am now, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I was listening to your one and one put together, And it's right, man. This place needs more people that care.
Definitely.
Some people may misunderstand me, bro.
Yeah, I hope they don't, though. Yeah.
This mental health business. You can't take a stress of me, because I've seen so much. I've won so many wars.
Yeah.
That, man, it's kind of indescribable with that part. But
yeah, man.
Listen to me. When I first took my son to Jamaica, Dr. Abel, the head psychiatric doctor at Cornwall Regional in Jamaica. And this man here looked at me. He said, "Sir, these people send him up here. Yes, I could see something was wrong with my son, But they never, because it worse that it comes from West Bay. It was worse." He said, "Something wrong, but it's not what they say." Anyway, he put him in a Cornwall Regional for the night. He put about 50 security guards around me to make sure nobody attacked me. Next day, took us on a plane from Cornwall Regional to Timpson Pen. And he said, "Well, you see the government here? Your government?" He said, "They send me to send him up here now and line up with me to send him. I'll show you where to keep all the Caymanians. Stony Hill."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, Dr. Abel, good experience with that part of it." I said, so I went there. saw the Caymanians, saw Stanley Seymour, God bless his soul. I could name them all day long. Some of the young girls that I see back here now that these people had condemned. You know?
Yes, sir.
They were mad. Yeah. And they were holding great jobs. They got kids. So anyway, one of the girls said to me, she said, hey, give me a cigarette. You know, she called my name. She said, Mike, give me a cigarette, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Abel looked at me and said, Mike, she know you? I said, me and her father's good friends. We work together. I said, young little girl. Yes, doctor, she know me. He said, oh, my God. Anyway, it wasn't. He made it short and made a quick visit. And he said, you know what? I'm not keeping your son here. Let's go back to the hotel. Mommy went back there. He sent him home, came on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like I said, my son is perfect. I love everybody. But when I see him in that state, I can't face him.
Yeah, man.
I cannot face him because the torture that they've administered, not only on him, many more of them. If you look at the end of the month, and just take a little drive around and see how many of them see walking the road, hauling, carrying on.
Yeah, man.
But the rest of the month, as soon as that wears out, you never see or hear about it. You see them there talking, you know, or raking somebody's yard, you know.
Yeah.
But they treat these people as bad people, and that is wrong.
Yeah.
Dr. Abel send him back here. Checked on a couple of times. I went to see Lahi one time. When as I saw him, I said, but this is a sick man. And I can't say 100% because even if so, these people, they probably wouldn't publish it.
I know he's.
I heard that they found him up in the back of the hospital one morning looking up at the sun. So they sent him back.
Yeah.
And he went back home himself. You have my people treating people that, yes, they may have a problem, but it's not them kind of problem. To further the story on, this child mother has never been sick in her life.
Yeah.
Right? Watch this. And because this happened to him now, and she started complaining and getting scared about something else now, right?
Mm-hmm.
She went to them. And they had her, and she was dropping down in her taxi and flopping out and frothing like a dog. And having fits. All you can do, my son have to,
Yeah.
But that's not in my family genes. They've never, and none of those people have ever had that until they got in the hands of these people. But you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
They know it all. And that's a bad thing what they're doing to people.
What do you think we can do about that? Because I appreciate your restraint. I appreciate the, attempt at being actually respectful and, the diplomacy you're certainly displaying. But how do we address it? Because you're only people who know what you're saying understand what you're not saying.
Right.
All right.
Well, I can give some little vibes.
Yeah, man.
You see, to deal with people, with me dealing with this man, I learned a lot.
Right.
If you know how many people in Cayman, young people that I've seen after learning certain things, by just talking to Dr. Abel and being in his company about this type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows God was crucified. Much after what I see, I hear, boy, this one, man, they say this one going crazy, They say this one that, and they were seeing people I was looking at and I said, those signs that I saw him doing, like what Dr. Abel told me.
Mm-hmm.
These people are some of them have so much pride. They don't have nowhere to stay. They don't have nothing to eat. They want people to treat them like dogs. There's no true love. And everybody that's in that position to say, oh, we got to send the police to lock him up. But remember, again, you won't go to your work tomorrow morning, right? Yeah, you don't want to have one chicken and chop his head off.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're not going to mow up.
Yeah.
So the parables I speak at some time, but for those that don't understand that there's too.
Yeah.
This place you need people, and we help certain people to care,
Yeah.
God, we help some of the nicest people that God ever created on this earth that care.
Yep.
That they care, and some of them know me, You see, as they're talking here now,
mm-hmm.
Come on. The only thing I know that they say, Mark, tell them the rest of it. Tell them the full score, and then they don't understand. But I got to be so careful.
But that's the thing, right?
One-man army.
Yeah.
You know? That's a one-man army.
Let me ask you, I mean, just generally speaking, if you were, and I'm not saying to do it now, but I'll leave it to you, right, at some point, if you or others who know were to say some of the things that, just even in the Cayman context that happened,
right,
you think people would believe it, or they would be so shocked and say, no, that's just unbelievable, no way that happens here?
People would believe it.
You think so?
There are people, yes, because this has happened to many people.
Yeah.
Another thing let me tell you. Born and raised here, you know, and I love this place.
I know, man.
I love this place. I love you people, you know.
Yeah, man.
But me now, I personally label it a criminal's haven from my experience in my 70 years living on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And never been in a problem that I've been in. Where they want to get rid of me for doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Speaking the truth.
Yeah, man.
That seems shy. And I gotta speak it because it is a fact.
Yeah. But stand your ground, my friend.
Sorry?
Stand your ground, because
yeah.
And the reason I ask you that, I had someone who would easily be considered a professional, both by experience and examination, share something. Now, nothing state secret, nothing confidential, don't reveal anything about it, just was a general observation, like you shared, right?
Right.
And I would have imagined that those of us listening would not have questioned the truthfulness of what the person was saying, the motivation. They would be able to easily see the love and the concern and the like, right?
Right.
Only to have someone else who equally would be considered a professional and a decent person, civil law abiding, all the things. Not to question with a view of getting more information, but with a question of view to disparage.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, here you have otherwise reasonable thinking people, and someone is saying, do you know that this happens and this is happening and this is not good, and we need to address it. Very much like what you're sharing.
Yeah.
And instead of the people saying, well, how do we fix that? Someone's trying to find a way to deny it, to somehow excuse it. And I'm thinking, but that's not what a sane, civil, sobering society would do in order to make its people better.
You know what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same point I'm trying to get across. These people,
I hear you.
They claim that they love you. They do not love you.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of these people talking about Jesus Christ is coming again. Joy to the world. It's so easy.
Yeah, man.
Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let the earth receive his king. Like every nation bow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? And they crucified him. Show me who came back 15 million from it that died 15 million years ago. But God is still alive, because the God that I serve and the God you serve, make sure it's the spirit from that one that they took away,
Yeah.
No, when he get into me and you, David slew Goliath with a sling and a stone, bro. So, if, in other words, if God is on your side, it's time to stand up,
Yeah.
It's time to stand up.
Yeah.
The devil have to run now. It's time for the devil to run. Cayman is such a beautiful little place. So many God-fearing people are listening to the show this morning. When I hear them, all the Caymanians, when they talk about, oh God, man, and every one of them brought such memories. Mr. Ahmad Patton, Mr. William Franklin, which a great politician in the history right across the road from me. They learned me how to read. The first couple letters from the Queen of England when she used to write him. Oh, man. Barefooted. Had to go to church. And then I'm going to town, I'm going to Mr. Craddock, and I'm going to all those people that my father, was like brothers with, because, they kept law and order. Now today, these people are saying, oh, he smoked you down here, hold.
Yeah.
But they're home fooling with their own children. Imagine. Huh? Imagine. And Sunday morning they go to church too. And after church they're gone back to the same old after story.
Yeah. It's something that I think we need to
believe in God and find true love and stop turning Cayman into a human marketplace. Dwayne, McCready's granddon.
Yeah, man.
God bless you. Whenever I do get a chance again, I'll call you back.
Yeah, just hold tight 1 second. Somebody got to do something for me, right? So don't disconnect yet, all right?
Yeah, but McCready's going to run out.
Yeah, cool. Great. Paul, do the thing. Hey, thank you very much, sir. And we'll chat again, bro. All right? And let's pause, take the final break. When we come back, more talk today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab team would like to extend their congratulations to all of the Heroes Day awardees. Thank you for your service.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Proudly brought to you by Walkers, a reputation for excellence. Learn more about the Walkers Scholarship and Legal Training Program at walkersglobal.com.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks too for sharing with us and looking at the clock. There's always a timeline, you know. Things have an expiry date. The milk in your fridge, even us as people, have an expiry date. So let's make it matter. Let's make it count. Let's make not just the most of it, but let's make the most of it in relation to our positive, impactful contributions to each other. So the legacy we leave isn't necessarily reflected in the statue or the awards. It's reflected in what we've given to each other, as the caller just shared. That love. He's very evidently, easily identified that there's some wonderful people in this country, and sometimes I think because of what we see, the evil that unfolds in our evening news, the stories that come out, and make blockbuster hits, sometimes we probably think there are more people who do bad than who do good. But Burke reminds us, evil prevails when good men do nothing. And perhaps that's the challenge that we have to face today, to ensure that there are more us who stand for right and righteousness, who stand on the side of justice and are justice-centric, those of us who will not allow people that just because of position, power, or authority to act with impunity, but who understand the importance that a civil, stable, loving, kind society is one where everyone stands together. Now that may sound like it's going to, for some people, as if it's naive, but it's truly is a noble endeavor. If we understand that, as Mr. Art reminds us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we are our brother's keeper. So I invite you, as you go out this afternoon, to think about, what we do and what we're not doing, what we say and what we're not saying, and how we say it. And sometimes it isn't just the words, but it's our actions. Our communication specialists tell us that body language communicates, a lot more than our actual words. So let's be loving and kind one to another. Let's be, for those who subscribe to prayer and meditation, that we have that sense of spiritual loving kindness. Let's not be afraid of the boogeyman. Let's not be afraid of the person in position. We don't need to be the pariah, nor do we need to be the martyr. But what we need to be is positioned and courageous, convinced that through a sense of fairness, of ethics, integrity, and honor, that we can rise above, what seemingly is unfolding, from the despot to the dictator, to that person for whom they believe that the measure is by the amount of material possessions, that it is not necessarily, the good that we do, but the gold that we possess, reinforced by the gun that we wield. It shan't be that way, and it won't be that way. Tomorrow, come back for more Talk Today right after the midday news, and until then, enjoy the wonderful, wonderful weather that we have. Remind us that perhaps this is when a good cup of fish tea offered to a friend can bring us closer through fellowship. Until then, be highly favored, my friends.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including